I'm Bryn Marie Parker, and I'm a songwriter and a performer, and I work under the moniker These Loud Thoughts, which is a name I gave myself after coming out as trans and non-binary. I didn't want to use my dead name anymore, so I thought that These Loud Thoughts was a pretty good description of the stuff that I write about and the things that I want to talk about. Subjects like transitioning and finding your place in the world and anxiety and all those wonderful things. I don't know, like hyper twang? No, I definitely, there are some indie rock elements. There's definitely some Americana elements. So yeah, I think everything is kind of like filtered through that like Americana garage rocky kind of vibe. Yeah, I am working on a new album. Usually I put out like 2 to 3 albums a year. I'm only releasing one record this year, but it's a full length. It's a much more personal journey. I mean, it's called Identity, so I mean, you know where it's going with it. There's a couple major themes that I think are running throughout this record. There's also like dealing with working through those feelings about yourself that are maybe not the most positive and trying to recognize that you can grow from those tougher experiences. There's also some topics of what it means to be queer and to be non-binary, especially in a very male-dominated genre like I perform in. I really hope that this record finds those ears. Like I said, there's not a lot of artists performing, non-binary or trans artists performing the kind of music that I'm performing. So I'm kind of hoping to reclaim a space for those of us who maybe like the more folksy, more Americana or country vibes, but also want to be seen. I mean, Dolly Parton. There was a period of time where I was listening to that podcast series, Dolly Parton's America, and I don't think I'd ever really discovered her music or her allyship in that way before then. So that was really interesting to dive into, and that sent me down a rabbit hole of listening to way too much Dolly Parton. Willie Nelson's always been a big influence of mine, but also 90s desert rock, like the Gin Blossoms, and some Midwestern punk influences like the Menzingers. Laura Jane Grace is a huge role model of mine. So the first single off the record is called Dolly Parton Drag Queen, and it's based off of a true story. When I was in Austin, Texas, I had a friend drag me to a queer dive bar where I sat there and drank Lone Star beer for the first time. But they were doing a drag show that night. It was a Dolly Parton drag queen. But it was definitely a moment where before that I was very cloistered in a very binary, straight, cis, hetero world. And it kind of opened my eyes to concepts of gender and fluidity that I hadn't really thought of before. There's a couple other songs on the album that I think I'm really excited for people to hear. Joshua Butcher from a band called Little Cloud, and he's doing a duet with me on a song called Career Change that I think is a lot of fun. I got to play harmonica. I love all the songs on the record. I keep adding to it, so I'm getting to that point where I really need to stop adding things to it. But the songs are great. I'm excited for them. As far as what I want people to glean from this record, I would say I always want my songs to bring about a sense of community and inclusion where too often there isn't. So I really have been putting a lot of time and energy and focus into giving people a sense that they're heard and seen. I just want people to feel like they're heard and seen so that they can feel more together. He said, I think again, 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 I think again.